Hey you guys, it's me Gemstone from www.tarotforhealing.com, and I'm making this video for a subscriber, hey, who asked how she can tap into her intuition. Now, there's different ways you can do that. I'll go through the first way, which I think is probably an easier way. Is okay, let me start from the top before I give suggestions. There are different kinds of people out there in the world. Obviously, I think everyone has intuition, everyone has that inner knowing within themselves. The only thing is that some of us tap into it more than others. Sometimes your intuition comes forward more, and it's almost like the inner knowing becomes louder than it does in certain situations. I think particularly if you're in a situation of danger, then your intuition can be almost like more sharpened, because it's trying to protect you from something. The only thing is sometimes we don't always listen to it, which I think if you're in danger, you definitely should listen to your intuition. If you're in a situation where something just doesn't feel right, or doesn't feel good, or doesn't feel as it's supposed to, then definitely listen to your intuition in that kind of environment, because it's protecting you from something. Some other times we don't listen to it as much because maybe the voice within ourselves is just a bit more subtle than it usually is, and so then we don't trust it so much. But one thing I'll tell you is that if you want to become more intuitive, you definitely have to learn to trust your intuition, because that's usually where the issue lies. It's not to say you're not an intuitive person. It just means that you have to leave yourself open to listening to your intuition, because sometimes, like I said, it can be very subtle. It can be a subtle knowing. It's not a outright screaming, okay, this ain't right, this ain't right, but it can be just something that you just sort of sense within yourself. For me personally, I think I've always been a person that has depended on my intuition in a lot of circumstances. But I think that came from the fact that I am a Libra, and I have quite a bit of other air signs in my chart, that are quite significant. And because of that, I can be really caught up in my mind, and it can be hard for me to make decisions because I'm always trying to weigh up things. And so a lot of the time I just have to tell myself, you know what, I'm not going to weigh up things anymore in my mind because it's driving me crazy. So I'm just going to follow my intuition and what feels right and go with that. So that's how I've been for a long time, and I think in a way that has helped me to rely on my intuition more. But I have to say, I didn't truly understand the importance of relying on my intuition before I really got into spirituality, and before I really got into divination. Divination can help you a lot when it comes to practicing being more intuitive, and when it comes to trusting your intuition more. So what I would advise you is, do what you feel guided to do. If it resonates with you to buy an oracle card deck and practice with one, I would definitely say that that would be worth doing. Even if you're not really wanting to go into tarot too deep, an oracle card deck is good if you just want to use it for your own personal use, and if you don't really want to have to study a whole system and everything which comes along with tarot. However, get the deck that you feel guided to get, whether it's a tarot or an oracle or whatever. It can be good to use those tools because it helps you in terms of um reading for yourself, reading the messages that comes through, and then being able to use your intuition to feel almost what is taking place in that card. And the more you practice this, the more you will end up seeing that even in outside circumstances, when you're not using your tarot, when you're just dealing with people, dealing with different situations, you start to see that you almost understand, or you're used to the voice of that intuition, of that inner knowing. You're more used to it. So because of that, you can use it more, you can depend on it more. You know that it's there, as a means of protecting you and as a means of guiding you throughout different situations. And another way is something that actually helped me when I needed help in my own life because of some things I was going through. I sought out the support of a psychotherapist, and the psychotherapist recommended practicing mindfulness. And mindfulness is really good if you are a person like me that is more inclined to be very in your head and you have a lot of stuff going on. It's a way of kind of clearing the mind. And I think the good thing and how mindfulness can actually help with using your intuition is that in clearing your mind, in letting your thoughts be free, because the mindfulness technique I used to use was called Leaves on a Stream, and you can find it here on YouTube, I believe. I'm sure you can. Because I think when she sent it to me, it was connected to a different website, but I'm sure you can find it on YouTube or something very similar on YouTube. And the thing about the Leaves on the Stream was it was almost like a visualization you could do of these leaves going on the stream, and it's like all your thoughts are going on those leaves and are just drifting away, drifting away, drifting away. And it's a way of clearing your mind. And when you clear your mind, it is easier for your intuition to come through, because then your mind isn't getting in the way. Because that's another thing that can happen, is that our minds can be so, the thoughts can be so dominant in our minds, because that's what we're taught to use in society, where things are very logical. We tend to just only think in a way that is very logical. But the fact of the matter is that our logic doesn't always take us to where we need to go. Sometimes it can just be too much, and then that's when we end up finding that we can't make choices, we can't make decisions, we just feel stuck, we feel stressed, we feel tension, because our minds is just going haywire. So it's kind of a way of being able to control your mind and quiet your mind, so that this sort of the quiet voice of your intuition can be heard. So that's another thing that can be really helpful. Something else I would say that is helpful is just do those practices too. Try those practices out, but try to incorporate this into your day-to-day life. That's the easiest way to make anything a habit, is by incorporating it into your life and doing it on a regular, like daily basis, or every other day, and then you'll start to see improvements. So it's like training yourself. And the way that you can train yourself just in day-to-day situations is just look at different aspects of your life. Look at your relationship situation. Look at your work situation. Look at your personal, maybe family life situation. And what you could do is, if you're the kind of person that you like to write things down, I'm not a huge write things down kind of person. Sometimes I do, but I'm more the kind of person that I just want to do it and just sometimes I'm just not in the mood for that. But do it how you feel inclined. But what you can do is think about different aspects of your life and just see how you feel about them. What comes through intuitively for you? If you're in a relationship with someone, you could ask your inner knowing, ask yourself, how do I really feel about this relationship? And it's about being truthful, and it's about letting the inner truth come forward, because that's what our intuition does. Our intuition doesn't lie. Our minds can lie, but our intuition doesn't lie. It's like, when you talk about the chakras and you talk about your third eye chakra. Your third eye chakra is what makes you intuitive, and your crown chakra. But the thing is about the third eye is that the third eye can see through the lies and can see through the deception. So that's why sometimes when somebody might be telling you something and it's not true, you might not even know that for a fact if what that person is saying is true or false, but something within yourself might just be feeling like, I feel like this person is lying to me about something. And a lot of the time, if this is coming from your inner knowing and you're not trying to work it out in your brain too much, a lot of the time what you're feeling will be the truth, what you're sensing will be the truth. Because if it's coming from a place of just pure intuition, then it's showing you something. like I said, if it's coming from the mind, it might be a bit confusing and here and there. And if you're trying to think of it logically, sometimes it can be a bit mixed up. So what I would say is, I think the tricky thing when it comes to following your intuition is trying to decipher where the mind comes in and where your intuition comes in, and sort of knowing the difference, knowing how to tell the difference between the two when they're both speaking at the same time. But again, practicing mindfulness, practicing divination kind of techniques can help to support you in getting you started on trusting that inner knowing, listening to that inner voice, and then being able to just apply it in every situation in your life without even using cards, without even going and referring to anything. But you would just be able to trust in the way you feel and know that that is the right answer that is coming through. So I hope this video was beneficial to you. I enjoyed making it. It was something that I wanted to talk about as well. So I hope it helps, and I'll see you guys. Thank you for rating, commenting, subscribing, all that good stuff. Bye.